Have you ever been in that situation where you were supposed to bring something to the potluck at work or for a family get together and you completely forgot? And you have literally like 30 minutes either in the morning or at the end of the day, and you don't want to be that person that always brings the Kroger veggie tray with those little prepackaged vegetables. No, you don't want to be that person. What are you going to do? I am going to give you your go-to recipe. It will work each and every time. Not only will this recipe work, people will think you're the most amazing cook ever. They will beg for it. I've had people actually come to my house the next morning and want more of my artichoke dip. I know, it literally is that good, and it took me 20 minutes. So I am giving you my secrets. But as I'm giving you my secrets, please hit subscribe. Oh my gosh, hit subscribe. I love you guys. You have been so supportive of me. I am just launching myself into a new career on YouTube, trying to help people to transform their lives the way I was able to transform mine. So if you want to transform your life, hit subscribe and I will show you how. Well, anyhow, let's get back to this little recipe. This is what I've done. So I am a special education teacher, so obviously I don't have a lot of money, and I raised 3 teenage boys as a single mom. So I would just kind of always go to Aldi's. I love you, Aldi's. You are the most amazing place on earth. And just buy up these little artichoke hearts. In 2022, they're still relatively inexpensive. Hopefully that won't change too drastically. I get them usually about $2, $2.38, okay? So fortunately, just kind of keep those in your cabinets, and then I'm just going to drain them in a colander and put them in a casserole dish, okay? And I'm going to just take basically my steak knife and just kind of break them up a little bit, you know, because they're a teeny bit big when they come out of that jar. So just breaking them up, and literally I'm creating this recipe with you guys, and this is about how fast I would make it. Some Worcestershire sauce, which that literally never goes bad, so I'm going to go ahead and add that right now. 1 tablespoon. You can add a can of bumbly crab meat. I had the hardest time finding it for a while, so I didn't want to put this as a crab dip when people may not be able to find this, but if you can find it, that's awesome. But sometimes if you're bringing it to a party and people have shellfish allergies, you might want to be a little bit careful and not do that, but it's just that. Now, if you did not have a fresh lemon, which is not a problem, you could just use some lemon juice, probably about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice would be perfectly fine also. Got like one little guy that needs to be cut up there a little bit more, so we're just gonna go ahead and put that in my juicer and just go ahead and get that in there. And I keep them in the freezer, so like they're always there in the freezer. So I'll get a ginormous bag for like maybe $3. I pull 3 out, I cut them up, and then make them into homemade pita chips. My homemade pita chips are perhaps costing me maybe a quarter. And so you can see from the picture, like people just literally freak out. They're like, this is so gorgeous, it's so pretty. How did you do this? You're so amazing. And you're like, I spent maybe $3 on this whole, so that you can take it and put it on portobello mushrooms instead of like, look, check on that link, or how to cook those portobello mushrooms. Alrighty, so if you are loving this series, don't forget to click on the link for the Mediterranean Keto Diet. That's basically how I transform my life, and it has just the amazing steps of how to get healthy and bring out inflammation in your body and just kind of be a new person at any age. Okay, so we've got that part. Usually, I hate to tell you, I don't usually measure, but in general, you're gonna need about a cup to 3/4, but I'm gonna show you what I normally do because I want you guys to see how I do it. I normally just take a spoon and just scoop out about 3/4 of a cup. That's how I normally do it. And the same with the Parmesan cheese. Now, if you had a block of cheese, you need to grate it fine also. So this is going to be about a cup of cheese, just so you guys can see and not like cooking that much. It really is a cup. So we're just going to kind of put a cup of cheese in and just kind of plop that in. Alrighty. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep this now. You need a spoon. In general, I would try to get them baked a little bit ahead of time and switch them to another container. That's kind of the general thing, just because this container can be a little hot. But if you're desperate, you're desperate. I have had to just bring this container or just set it on my counter. Just want to make sure that everybody's nice and chopped up. So this is going to go into the oven for 20 minutes at 400 degrees. You're going to pull it out. Typically, I would transfer it to another container. I'm going to put it in like a crock, like a cute little crock, in the middle of a tray, and then put the pita chips around the dip. So that's what it's going to look like now cooked. I'm going to plop that in the oven, and then I'm going to show you how to prepare these extremely easy pita chips. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to make the pita chips. So you will want a shallow pan. I do prefer to use tinfoil now than parchment paper, just because of the danger of plastics, raising your estrogen level, giving you that belly fat. But click onto that link of how to boost your testosterone to correct those hormonal imbalances that cause belly fat. So shallow pan. And then these little friends are just gonna go straight back in the freezer. No problems. They're happy to go back and join their friends in the freezer. They're like, okay, we're good. So I've got 3 of these friends, and I'm going to take a sharp knife and I'm going to cut them into halves. Okay, so we're gonna cut them into halves. This reminds me of fractions. Let's do little fraction experiments with my kids just like this. And then we're gonna cut them into fourths. And then we're gonna cut them into eighths. Okay. And as we're cutting them into eighths, I'm going to put them on to the oven pan. All right, so make sure you spread them out so that they all kind of even-ish. All right, now we're gonna take olive oil and we're going to brush them with olive oil. Well, anyhow, so we're just kind of thinking about like, how can we be healthy? How can we be like that best person, reverse that aging process? And always, I'm just like, love telling my story about like 5 years ago, I went on that journey. And how much is like, once I made that one change with my health and got my health in order, you know, you see that picture, ugh, you know, it's just like everything changed. Like, I'm in Nashville, I have a YouTube channel, I have a new job, and amazing friends, a new place. Sometimes funny, it's just like once you put that big rock in your jar, like all the other things start to fall in place. So I'm always encouraging you guys, please focus on your health first. Focus on you. If you are a mom or anybody else, or a dad, single dads, I love you guys. You know, it's always like we're focusing on other people, which is good. But focusing on yourself too is also a good thing. So I love my McCormick's vegetable seasoning. It's my go-to. All I'm gonna do is sprinkle these friends, and voila, I have pita chips. So those friends are done. 4 minutes. Be careful. Like the artichoke dip, I'm not terribly worried about, but on these friends, they will burn up, and I have burnt them. So then I am going to go in, oops, my tongs, and I'm just going to turn them and cook them for another 2 minutes.
Hey friends, if you want to make a dip that is just going to absolutely amaze your family and friends over the 4th of July weekend, it's going to be my artichoke crab dip. I created this recipe about 30 years ago, have been making it ever since, and everybody always loves it, and it's about the easiest thing you could ever make. So to make this dip, you'll need a casserole dish, and there is a recipe linked below at keto.com. You're going to need a 1/2 cup of real mayonnaise, like Duke's from the South, yes. 3/4 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. You need 1/2 squeezed lemon. You can add 1 can of crab meat, not necessary. 1 jar of artichoke hearts chopped, and 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. You mix all of it up, bake it in the oven at 400 degrees for 20 minutes, and then I add my toasted pita chips. That is just absolutely perfect for any party you go to.